Like there's a lot of people that say the U.S. is messed up its air doctrine and its warfare doctrine a lot, especially with the equipment it's ordering.
I mean,
Um,
I would argue that they don't know how to fight a war anymore. I mean, won one since World War II,
it's because the goal is never to win, but to
or
enrich the
hypothetically.
certain people.
How dare you, sir? That is un. I mean, you're not wrong, but that's you're not supposed to say it.
It's just like see a red dot appear on my chest.
I mean, you heard the BlackRock dude. Like, war's good for
Yeah,
business, right?
yeah,
And talk about saying the quiet part out loud.
right. Well, I mean, it's our goal was never to like. I think we knew that winning a war in Afghanistan was never going to happen. Like, because it's what's our goal there? Where our goal is to apparently spend money, at
I mean,
least towards the end.
nation building,
Like,
right? That's the
what
deal. The
was it?
nation
Nation
building.
building though?
That was the stated goal. Let's go with that.
Stated goal, yes. But if you were to build a nation, how much of what we did would you do?
It's interesting you asked that. I usually use that same question kind of in reverse with regards to Democrat-run cities, but that's just me. Like
Again, you're not
if your
wrong. But
goal if your goal was to destroy the city, like let's say hypothetically your goal wasn't, but if it was, what would you do differently than what they've done?
doesn't
That one's
Tim
always
Pool or
one that gets
somebody
people like pause.
doesn't Tim Pool or something have like they hate liberals because everything they do just screws over liberals. That's clearly what Democrats seem to hate liberals because they mostly strike at the liberals, and
And you could
you
make
know,
that argument, but I
and it's a little tongue in cheek, right? But
have
like,
my other theories. But
well, like what they just wear some Morlock or whatever.
careful, careful. This is just episode 2, brother. Like it's not a good time to
Hey, well, the next
randomly
channel.
randomly commit like Ryan Reynolds and
Okay, I haven't
Deadpool.
heard about. Oh, got it. I
Ding
mean,
ding ding.
if we have to
And we'll
cancel
get
this
to edit that
podcast,
portion out of the podcast. But
you can edit it out. I'm not doing that shit. That's a lot of work.
it's no, it's not. It's just clip this section out and just start. Like just pretend
Just
like it never happened.
cut, edited for our safety. Cut.
Yeah. Our safety, meaning Chris's safety.
Hey, they can
Because
come find me.
no, I'm not gonna. Pretty sure they know where you are,
Probably.
but that's okay.
Um,
No, I mean, yeah, that's. But yeah, I mean, like, let's look at it. What are they gonna do? What are you gonna do? Why are you? What's the point in Russia? What with Ukraine? I don't think it's.
the point in Ukraine,
I think
to protect Biden's assets.
no,
Should I stop saying these things?
no, that's not the case. If it was to protect Biden's assets, they would have let that deal close on an instant. Like, shut up, put it away, call it good, and let's not talk about this ever again. They just swept it under the rug so fast. But
Doesn't most
it's
of the
also been highly useful for them
well,
because it's amazing how whenever there's bad news that comes out, how there happens to be something going on in the Russia-Ukraine thing that hits the news and, obfuscates what other bad information came out. Like there happened to be a Russian coup when everybody starts talking about the fact that Hunter Biden got a sweetheart deal that nobody has ever even come close to before and gets felony charges for tax evasion reduced to 2 misdemeanors and is getting deferred adjudication for a gun charge that has never happened.
yeah. I
I
mean, it's
I listened to Viva Fry podcast from last night and yeah, Barnes was like, I went through all of them. It's
oh
never been
yeah.
the case.
No,
Ever.
like people are like, this is
Hmm.
a ridiculously sweetheart deal. Like
Yeah.
they're not even hiding it. They're just going, yeah, he's royalty, so
What are you gonna? No, no, they're flaunting it in your face and going, "What are you gonna do about it?
oh, basically, yeah. Oh, Hillary's like, but her emails, like, oh, now is not the time. Like,
Bring that up."
mm, mm. It's just one of those like, you don't have rights, peasant.
Yeah. You don't. Who are you to challenge me
Oh
and what
God.
I have and what
Oh,
I
and
do
then
and how I say things and what I choose to
Garland
do?
recently when he's like, if you're questioning the DOJ
Yeah.
is a threat to democracy, it's just like,
That's all right.
do you guys
I
read
hear
this
somebody
stuff
is. I hear
back
some.
before you say this? Like,
No. They're so confident. This is why I'm confident we're gonna win.
that's gonna get bad first.
It's gonna get bad, no question. But if you look at it, this is the same thing that's going on with some of the other controversies that we don't need to talk about, right? But they thought they were doing fine, they went too far and they stepped over the line. I think you're going to see the exact same thing happen with this, and people are going to be like, "Wait a minute. No, no, no. I have to be a hoarder and keep my IRS records for 7 years with threat of jail time and super like ridiculous
I'm
fines."
still not sure
And
how it doesn't violate. Was it the Fifth Amendment, Fourth Amendment? One of those
yeah, that's a
amendments.
yeah, but that's a different animal you can get to altogether. But
No, I know.
but like regardless of that fact, is that okay? But this guy, they haven't even addressed some of the other things. Like this is just part of it, mind you. Right now, I'm calling this. It's gonna be a little bit
Calling
down
your
the road.
shot.
Yeah, I'm calling this out right now.
All right,
I
I'm
got
writing it down. I'm writing
two
it
big
down.
ones. No, you're not. Two big
Sean
call outs. Number
calls.
one is that they're going to cut a sweetheart deal, right? They're going to cut this sweetheart deal, and then somebody put this forward, and so it's not
Oh,
really
is this
my call,
about?
but I agree. I bet that, but I bet that in that would be probably like early summer, like a year from now,
Biden resigns.
May of next year, Biden steps down, and before he does, he pardons Hunter on the way out, and then you've got basically 6 to 9 months of Kamala lame duck because she's not going to get elected. So they'll run her like this will give them the opportunity to run Newsom because something happened to Biden. He had a health issue or something. Like
Oh
they'll
yeah.
that'll happen, right?
You're seeing this.
And and so then Kamala goes out and she pardons Biden on her way out, and then you've wrapped everything up in a nice little bow.
Um,
Like
yeah. I
everybody's
mean
free
it's
and clear. And
it,
not only that, I think that I think, get this, I think that Biden will pardon Trump at the same time
no,
that he pardons Hunter.
nope, nope. I don't think so.
Because
Well,
here's the reason why.
things will have to change, but they're headed
The,
in that direction, so maybe.
the the reason why is if you're on your way out anyway, and you don't like if you want to pay attention to this side and not look at what this hand's doing, hey, I'm gonna pardon Trump. Oh, and
It's the
by
way
the
of
way,
getting away with it.
I also pardoned my son for all the other shit that he did so he doesn't end up in jail.
It's sort of one of those like you can't. People will be like, okay, fine, because
No, it's it is literally just I mean like it's the Republican Party. You throw them a chunk of red meat every once in a while and they'll be
oh
fine
yeah,
and they'll be
no,
fat and happy and that's their chunk of red meat. Hey, all of these things that are going on with regards to your boy President Trump, I'm going to eliminate those. I'm going to
it
kick those
doesn't.
completely out. That's done. It's gone.
Right.
He doesn't have to worry about that anymore.
It doesn't matter that he never should have been charged in the first place. That it was all
Right.
bullshit anyways,
Right. That
and that
whoa, whoa, whoa.
the,
You're acting like stuff matters. No,
I
it's
mean,
more of, hey, I'm we're gonna this is this is how I'm gonna make peace.
right, right.
I'm gonna pardon
We're
my
the
son
party
for
of
the stuff that he
unity.
did. and I'm going to pardon Trump for the stuff that he did, and we're all going to smile and hold hands and get along, and I'm going to go eat my ice cream and my butt's been wiped.
I mean,
Chocolate,
I,
chocolate chip, y'all.
they should do that. I don't think that they are. I think they're too proud to do that. I think they're too narcissistic to do that.
Bet me.
I don't want to.
I
Um,
think the only thing that's holding it together right now that's keeping him in office is Jill. I think she likes the power. I think
oh,
she enjoys being the
but
first lady, and
you're see,
you
you're
see
seeing
her
them turn on
dragging him
Biden.
around and pushing him to, like, steering him where he needs to go. Oh yeah. I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's the case. And I think the men in black suits with the briefcases are going to go up to them and be like, "This is what you're going to do, and this is how it's going to be." They're not going
the
to give them an
whole
option.
like, oh, no one ever showed her the other angle of the grassy knoll, huh?
Yeah,
Someone could do that.
right.
Um, but no, you're
That's
seeing
number
it.
one.
You're seeing it starts of it where they're already allowing people to turn on Biden in the media
Yeah,
and criticize him. And I don't think Biden's running next year. I think that they're trying to find a way for him in out. And there's a lot of speculation that it's a part of this sweetheart deal. Biden's going to resign comfortably in some way or
sure.
exit comfortably in some way. Kamala is the problem, though. So there is some hope. I think there's a allegation of hope that the Democrats are hoping that they can get Biden to go along and push Kamala out somehow.
I don't think they care.
And I,
Newsom's your boy.
well, Newsom's their boy for sure. But
Newsom's who's going to run, and he's been showing all the telltale signs just in the last like few months. Like, if anybody who doesn't see that read, like, you're
oh
you're
yeah,
missing the boat. Like,
oh yes,
he's
he's running. He's already running for
he's
honest.
running, he just hasn't announced. That's
Yes.
what's gonna, like, that's how it is.
But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think people will see through Patrick Bateman's facade here? Like
I
that guy
mean,
is a psychopath.
blue no matter who? No.
Yeah, that's kind of my fear.
I mean, California didn't care that while they were locked in their houses, their businesses were shut down and they literally went out of business and went bankrupt, that he was going and partying with his friends and donors at a four-star French French Laundry restaurant. Like, nobody cared.
no
Didn't
no
care.
no.
So no, I did.
It's all
I
it's
don't
because
think
it's
it'll matter.
yeah. I mean that's yeah. Will it matter outside of California? Do you think people outside of California will start to see it a little bit? The
Maybe.
normies that are a little,
I don't. I don't. I
we'll
I
see.
think I think you're going to have a depressionary crash. I called that. I called that a year ago. That I expect that it's going to happen this fall, this autumn.
Well, first one, then the other.
Whatever. Yeah,
Fall, autumn, they're so close
like
together.
like we had that discussion a year ago, right? Like I said, it was going to be this
By that we
autumn
mean the
that
fall
was
of
going
this country.
to.
Uh,
And
I
and
mean,
if that comes true the way that I expect it to, I mean, like, they may do some stuff. And again, I preface this by, if they just start money printer go burr, like, that's going to change things. I think that they're going to get involved and try to stop it as much as they can. I don't think they can hold it off all the way through November of next year, which is what they're going to try to do.
I'm
I
not
don't
even
think they
sure.
can.
I'm not even sure they can hold off the fall until autumn.
Yes.
Um,
I
like
see what you did there.
yeah, yeah,
I
clever.
I, I agree.
Um, I'm looking at signs within the market that are just terrifying.
Uh,
Um,
Unfortunately, here's the deal. Those things take a long time to play, a lot longer to play out than you would expect they do,
well,
just
so
as a
some of it
general rule.
is, well, some of it's, well, some of this stuff is old and should be starting to play out about now. Some of this is like there's what is it the S&P 500 earnings, the average corporate bond earnings, and the Treasury bond earnings are all at 5.3% return. That is crazy. That is a medium risk, low risk, and a no risk asset all having the same return.
And there's something wrong with that? I'm confused. Isn't that what it's supposed? Oh no, that's not
Well,
how that's supposed to go.
for those
Yeah,
who haven't taken remedial, finance, um, your return should be proportional to the risk, and it should be relatively proportional. So if there is another asset that has better return but same risk, you'll go with that
yeah. I was wondering if I had it saved, but I don't. I actually saw a graph
of that.
today. No,
Oh,
no, no. Um, of the division between assets held by banks and the valuations of the S&P 500,
yep. I think
and
I
they
see that.
usually track pretty close together, and there has been a deviation in that. And it's, yeah, I mean, but there's so many different things, right? Like anybody who's not seeing this coming is just head in the sand.
Well, and
The
one of the
2
reasons
and 10 year started looking like it was going to come back to parity and is now going further away and is now set an all-time record between the 2 and 10. That's a
it's
problem.
100 basis points.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
100. That's a full point spread.
Yeah.
And and as we all know, the commercial real estate market is tanking. That's going to crash.
It's
People are
fucked.
turning in the keys rather than like they're not
They're
even
just here. You deal
renegotiating.
with it.
They're not even renegotiating. It's just not worthwhile.
It's
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 like the lenders are saying are coming out and saying like we were willing to renegotiate with them to try to keep them in the space, and they're just saying it's not worth it and handing the keys over and being like you can just have it. I don't care.
and
That's
which
not good.
basically means the banks are going to eat it because they don't know what to do with. They can't.
No,
If you can't.
that's no, that's
Oh,
not how
we're
that's
going to
going to
eat it.
go.
We're going to
There
eat
you
it.
go.
Yeah.
Ding
Sorry.
ding ding. We have a
The
winner.
the banks are going to eat it. They're going to get full way too quickly and going to pass it on to us to eat.
Did you did well they'll pass it on. Technically they'll pass it on to the federal government and then the federal government will pass it on to us. But yeah,
Yes.
that will
Little
that's have you ever
bite
seen the
sized
human
pieces.
centipede?
Oh.
We're the third dude in line. Yeah. Yeah, think about that. That makes you feel better.
No, it
Don't
makes you feel
Google that
about the
on
same.
people do not Google that on a work computer.
Or any
Or any
computer,
computer, really. Like
really.
you probably don't want to see that. It's
It's
not pretty
it's
bad, but it's an analogy that works.
mm-hmm. Well, but the reason
So
I brought up the fact that the asset spread is because that's something that can fix itself fast. That is something that can fix itself in a month. But the way it fixes itself is a crash in corporate bonds and a crash in the market.
pay attention. Here's economics lesson for everybody if you're not paying attention. There have been very, 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 very few times ever that the Fed has paused raising rates and then continued raising rates. Generally, what happens is they pause and then things break and crash, and then they start dropping rates. So, for anybody who's not paying attention, for the month of June, Fed paused, but then started talking really hawkish about they were going to raise rates, raise rates, raise rates. And if anybody's been paying attention to what the Fed's been doing, they talk one way, they talk about it the way that they want the market to react, and people do, and then they end up kind of laying off that or going the other direction. So if they say we're gonna, we're gonna raise rates, we're expecting to raise rates 50 basis points next quarter or next month, and they keep keep preaching that, and then they only raise it by 0.25, and they go, but next time it's going to be 0.5. We've got to get this under control, and we will do it. We're committed to it. And then the next iteration rolls around, 0.25. Like that's it's 25 basis points, 50 base, whatever it is. Like just watch how they'll talk one way and then that's not how they produce. My guess is, and and a lot of times you see that pause may last several months, but I
Mhm.
expect that they're not going to raise rates again. They might. I don't think they can afford to.
I
One,
I
the government can't afford to service the debt if they do. Two, you'll crash so many banks that nothing will be worth anything.
yeah, but their inflation's still on the rise. I think they've lost control.
No, it's not.
Well,
It's disinflation.
disinflation? You mean it's lessening?
It's slowing rate of inflation,
Okay.
right? So we're still inflating, but at a slower rate. So
Okay, but
the
it's still
last print
high.
was, it's not that high. I
Last
mean,
I thought it was around 6%?
four,
4? Okay.
4.4, 4.3, something like that is what the last print was. And
Which,
and
if you
get
trust it.
this. Now, that's according to the official numbers. The
Yeah, if
actual
you
number is
trust it.
probably closer to 9. One,
Right.
two, they also changed the way that they do the calculation,
Again.
well, a few months ago. And
Right,
so
but
it
like,
used to be based off of the 2 previous years combined as an average, and now they're doing it just off of the previous year. Well, since we had high inflation last year, it makes the inflation this year look less. Ta-da! And on top of that, they have yeah, that's a fist. Yeah, that's fisting. That's no lube. Um, kids, don't ask your parents about that.
or do.
Or or do.
Same thing.
So the other side of that is that they've also recalibrated what their stated inflation goal is. It used to be 2% and try to keep it between 2 and 3, and they've recently started saying that they think that they need to be prepared to adjust that somewhere closer to like 3 or 3.5, maybe 4, which if they do that, then guess what? We're right where we want to be with our inflation, so we can lower rates now.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? Super happy. I
Oh,
mean, don't
for
worry.
those at home, like,
Don't worry.
for those paying attention at home,
You're going to own
a
nothing and you will
yes,
be happy.
you will be a debt slave for your entire life.
Yes.
That is what that will like. Given the state of the economy now, and a 3% targeted 3 to 4% target inflation, or just right around 3%, let's say, that starts making everything like just you need to be in debt basically because holding on to assets get expensive. If you're a normal person,
I don't,
like
I don't think so.
you don't think that's like you don't want to be, but in order like the average person in order to survive is going to make decisions that put them in debt.
No, that's my point is you shouldn't.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I mean like that is what that does is what I'm saying. I'm like you need to avoid it. You need to find ways to not be in debt. You need to find ways to have assets that can increase in value faster than inflation instead. Um, but you need to be mindful of the evaluation of those assets. And
You
yeah,
need to educate yourself on economics and finance. That's what
yeah,
you need to do.
it's increasingly important that you include economics and finance in your in your information environment.
Yeah, not increasingly important. It is a dire necessity for your survival in the future.
Yeah, I mean
Not
that's
like it's literally life or death. That's what I'm going to argue.
I was getting more that it's increasing towards that in term based on your timeline. But yeah, it's
Yeah, but how long did it take you to learn economics and finance to understand it well?
it depends on the degree of that. I mean, I guess you could
Rough
say a
guess. Just,
while, but I don't know how you track the fact that I've always paid attention to stuff.
but I mean, like Like you've understood and known the implications and how that was going to go and how this was that and everything else.
Less so in finance,
Okay.
but economics, sure. Like I took a quite a like I liked economics. I took a quite a few. I
Your
was
classes in your classes in college and university don't count.
as studying economics.
Yeah, because they don't really teach you. They teach you the theory of economics, not real economics.
Well, you mean you're referring then more to finance. That's going to be more of the like looking at the
I'm not
planning
going
and
to
all
argue
that.
with you over semantics.
But
Like, how long have
um,
you been studying finance? How long does it take you to learn?
to apply the stuff that I've learned in the real world, it maybe took a year to
Year or
figure
two,
that out.
right? Like, just say a year or two,
Sure,
right? And your average IQ, above average IQ.
I'd say I'm above average IQ.
Okay. So if you're at average IQ and if you're above average IQ and it takes 2 years or a year even, if you're average IQ, expect that it's going to take you 5 because you're not going to be able to
Yeah,
dedicate time to it. Or you might be able to and you just won't. But
yeah. I mean, that's
like it's
like,
going to take, if you dedicate time to it, you can do it. And there's some good, there's some good resources out there, but
but I don't
own
think
it.
you need to. I don't think most people need to understand this stuff to the degree that I do.
Okay. I think
Like
most people don't understand any of it.
that is fair.
The base level of like, and I'll be clear, I didn't understand it. Like I still remember whenever I had my epiphany about like I like crypto. I Bitcoin fan, right? But
Hmm.
I like the tech. I like the idea. I like the technology. And I had an epiphany the other day is that hey, if everybody's transacting everything in Bitcoin, there's no taxable transaction.
I mean,
So if you bought a car from somebody in Bitcoin, the only difference is that you have to register it, right?
yeah.
But if you bought if you bought eggs from somebody for Bitcoin,
I would like to point out that this is not legal or financial advice,
this is not. I'm just saying
and that you should
hypothetically.
talk to a lawyer before engaging in tax fraud or
It's
potential tax fraud.
no, it's tax avoidance.
I maybe. Um,
Hypothetically,
I'm
what if you
just
used what if you used Bitcoin to purchase gold, which you can do.
yeah,
Like there are exchanges that you can.
sure.
They have it shipped to your house. It's as good as it's actually probably better than fiat. But
I mean, I'm pretty sure that you have to pay you probably the IRS probably states that you have to pay the dollar equivalent of that in for a lot of these taxes.
well, let's be clear. You might have to pay the dollar equivalent of. You might have to pay the like sales tax
Yeah.
on the gold that you bought. But say you bought the Bitcoin at right now. Say you bought it now, 30,000 roughly.
Hmm.
And Bitcoin in say 2 years roughly gets up to, I don't know, 150, 180. And at $180,000 per Bitcoin, instead of cashing it out and then using that money to go buy gold, you still have to pay sales tax on the gold anyway. But instead, you just send the Bitcoin directly to the gold dealer. The gold dealer mails you the gold. You pay the sales tax on it. That's fine.
Hmm.
But you never converted the Bitcoin back into fiat.
Oh, there's
And there would be like if you did that, if you had say that Bitcoin was worth 180K, that's $150,000 worth of either capital gains or
right.
income, depending on how long you'd held that Bitcoin, that you would potentially be liable for taxes on.
right,
But
but
if
it
you
that
never
only
actually converted it
converted into cash, yeah,
to
into
fiat
USD. Yep. Well,
on a
and
centralized exchange,
yep. Oh, and
the
there's
same could
some
hold if you wanted to say hypothetically buy real estate in another country.
yes, no, there is a lot of ways you could do tax avoidance for even
Careful, don't say the E word.
the other
Yeah.
stuff. Um, with Bitcoin, if you are sophisticated,
If one were so
um,
inclined.
yeah, I mean, I think that there is a strong use case for cryptocurrencies in reinforcing, regaining some of our rights, let's say, in
Yeah,
practice, because we've
and
always had them.
yeah, and let's be real. Like the reason the initial start to that, like I didn't understand that whenever I first got into Bitcoin. I no idea, no clue.
Mm.
I thought it was a scam. Like I'll be real about it. And then I was doing some research. I was like, I need to educate myself better about it. And I remember whenever, like when I realized like I had that like light bulb aha moment. It was whenever like somebody made the point. They're like, well, people say, oh, well, Bitcoin's not backed by anything. It's like, yeah, well, neither is
The
the
US
US
dollar.
dollar
Oh
since
yeah.
1971, 72.
Well, there was like a it might have been a some big finance guy or chairperson of the Fed or something or big name guy in business world, let's say, got up there and was like, "Oh, Bitcoin's worthless. If I had all the Bitcoin and I asked you, you know, how much, and I wanted $1,000 for the Bitcoin, would you give it to me? No, that'd be crazy. What are you going to do with it? Pay me back?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but now do that with dollars." Right? If one person holds all of the dollars, they're just as worthless as if somebody holds all of the Bitcoin.
Well, except for they're ones and zeros on a computer, and they can infinitely print more, as they've
Right.
very clearly proven. Whereas Bitcoin, on the other hand, there will only ever be 21 million.
Bitcoin's just decentralized fiat.
Yeah,
Instead of the fiat being backed by a single entity, i.e., the US government, is backed by the network.
i.e., guns.
Mostly predator drones, I think.
I mean, the what is
Missiles,
it?
maybe?
The full faith and credit of the U.S. government.
Is that the name of a
That's,
battle
I think.
cruiser?
I mean, like
Or
that's
is that the new
in
name of
fairness,
our
if I was
carrier group?
if I was ever to be elected president, which Lord knows that would never happen.
Oh, I
Uh,
wouldn't vote for you.
that would definitely be what I would name a destroyer or something like. What is
This
this?
is the
What is
bet.
this
We're gonna
aircraft carrier? It's the full faith and yeah.
no no. So you call one carrier group full faith and the other one the credit. Between the two, it's the full faith and credit of the United States, and that's what backs our dollars.
Yeah, but that's an aircraft carrier and a destroyer. Like, yeah, pretty much.
Well, you'd probably do the whole carrier group because they really operate as a unit.